Hi, I'm Marcia Gersh, the Program Training Coordinator for Create Better Health. And today's training, Powerful Success Stories for SNAP-Ed, will cover the importance of using written success stories to enhance our reporting. We will cover why they are important, how we use them, what makes up great success stories, how to encourage partners and participants to share them, and other guidelines to make them even more powerful. So let's get started. Success stories help enhance our reporting and can demonstrate a return of investment. They humanize the numbers that are reported in pairs, and they generate empathy. They help to show the difference our program is making in the lives of our participants. Sharing the impacts of our programming is enhanced with powerful stories that resonate with stakeholders. Success stories can easily tell the story that kids and families are eating better, parents are stretching their food dollar, and communities are improving their environments. Success stories are super important for our programming. Imagine using just the numbers in pairs and trying to tell someone who knows nothing about our program the impacts we are having. Although the numbers are impressive, the success stories are what truly help that person make a connection, and they leave an impact on that person that will be remembered. We use success stories in a variety of different ways. We use them on our websites and social media, when we meet with congressional staffers in Washington, D.C., for our infographics and other marketing materials, our impact reports, and the annual report. People love a good story and are often moved by a story, and that is what success stories are. They are a description of the difference our program is making in the people's lives. They are more than just the numbers we report. Great success stories highlight a participant's behavior over time. They are credible and authentic and show how our participant overcame a specific challenge. Again, a success story describes the difference you are making in people's lives. It documents what was invested, what was done, who was reached, and what resulted for the individuals, communities, and the environments involved. Here are a few of the success stories our ambassadors have entered into pairs this year. I have put an effort into making a menu for my meals, and I have also made a shopping list. Since I do this, I spend half of what I used to spend on food. I had not exercised for a long time due to illness, but with your classes, I have learned that I should not be inactive, and I've gone out for a walk and I feel very well. I'm elderly and I thought I would not be able to, but I did it. Thank you so much. Two of my students told me that thanks to the class and because we had talked about goals, the importance of setting goals to do physical activity, the two of them started walking together at least twice a week. They told me that they have felt very well, both emotionally and physically, since they began to carry out their walks. All this is thanks to the class where we saw setting goals for physical activity. I have been told that after exercising, they feel better. I was at the park and was happily greeted by one of the second grade girls. She told me she'd just seen the YouTube vegetable lesson in her PE class. She told me that the lesson made her decide she loves vegetables and told me she requested broccoli for dinner every night since. And her dad, who was nearby, confirmed this. She told me her baby brother doesn't like broccoli, but she isn't giving up on him yet. She said, I tell him every night that broccoli has vitamins to make his body healthy. Engaging youth in nutrition education and increasing awareness to healthy food consumption can impact a whole family. Now, I really like all these success stories. They show participants making changes in their lives and building support systems around them. They show that teaching a youth can impact a whole family. However, they may be even better if there's a future follow-up to them. What other changes or benefits besides stretching her food dollar has the first person noticed? Did the baby brother ever like broccoli? Has the family increased their consumption of other vegetables, and have they noticed any other benefits of eating more vegetables within their family? As you enter your success stories, remember that they can be added to throughout the year as you continue to work with those participants and gather more information from them. Continue to prompt them to share what benefits they are noticing in their own lives. Good success stories tell the tale of a challenge a participant was facing. It demonstrates that because of the work you did using our programming, the participant took some sort of action in their lives to overcome that challenge and then shared the result of how they benefited their lives through that specific behavior change. Davis County had a great success story that I want to share. I'll start with some of the background information. Rachel said that while advertising our Create Farm Fresh garden class at the community garden, I met the apartment manager of Winsong Apartments. This is a low-income apartment. She reached out to me later on about participating, but by the time she had reached out, the class was full. She was really sad to hear this and asked if there was other programming we could offer to her complex. In our conversation about this, she mentioned she had an unused raised garden bed that she would love help starting a garden in. So we arranged a Zoom meeting with members of our state team, extension office, the apartment manager, and our Create Better Health team to discuss the manager's garden needs and how we could help. The meeting was an amazing collaboration that resulted in several programming plans. And this is the success story of the planting. We helped the apartment manager to establish her garden at the beginning of June. Prior to this class, we communicated details over the phone, in person, and through email. The manager was able to get $200 from her management to use for the garden supplies. The bulk of this budget being used to purchase new soil for the garden. Sheridan from the extension office donated starter plants for the garden, and we allowed the community to borrow our garden tools on the day the garden was established. The day of the first class, we had 21 residents at the apartment attend. They all worked together to replace the old soil with new soil. Then we assisted them in planting the variety of starter plants: tomatoes, tomatillas, poblanos, jalapenos, zucchini, green bell peppers, cucumbers, and pumpkins. We also taught them the basics of weeding and watering the garden, including a watering demonstration. The community was extremely excited to participate and loved the experience. Since we established the garden, I received an email from the manager detailing the success of the garden so far. Here is what she said. We can't thank you enough for helping us plant our garden. This has really brought our community together, and I'm happy to say that everyone has shown the utmost respect for this project. The kids are still very enthusiastic, and some of the other kids who didn't participate on that day have gotten involved as well. Also, the littering has gone down. It's amazing what a garden project can do for a community. The garden seems to be bringing the community together and has gotten them excited to eventually eat the produce it provides. Ideally, the garden will provide them with a sustainable source of free produce for them to eat, increasing the overall health and food security of the apartment complex residents for years to come. An additional partnership with the extension providing produce drops will also help until they can expand their garden to be big enough for the whole community to have plenty of produce during the summer. Overall, this was a great project that has led to a strong partnership with this apartment complex. So because of this meeting, they were able to establish a community garden, help arrange produce drops to increase food access, and also the Create Better Health ambassadors will be teaching a series of classes there. What an awesome success. It will be fun to read about the updates to this success story as the garden continues to grow. So how do we encourage participants and partners to share what successes they are seeing? Number one, teach a series of classes. It is easier to learn about participants' behavior change when you see them over a span of time. It's difficult to get success stories but highlight change if you're only seeing that participant at a one-time class. After a one-time class, you can often get stories that include the intent to change, but the most powerful stories are those that we find out how that intent went into action and then what results of those actions happened and how they influenced that person's life. So really try to teach in a series. Next, build rapport. As you're teaching in that series, you can start to build rapport with your participants. As you teach and communicate with them just through normal class time, oftentimes they will naturally open open up and start sharing their own stories. Be prepared to listen for those. Ask prompting questions. Use open-ended questions to allow participants to respond in their own way. Remember to take advantage of the success story prompting questions in the curriculum. Maybe present them with a challenge. At the end of each lesson, present a challenge to your participants and let them know that you're going to follow up with them the next week. This alone can inspire somebody to take action that week. And then the follow-up gives them an opportunity to express how that challenge affected them. Along with that, remember to briefly recap your lesson from the previous meeting and ask questions that prompt behavior changing responses. What did they do during that week and how did it affect their life? And remember that success stories can come from all the different areas of our program: direct education, indirect and social media, PSE, and even with your partnerships and coalitions. Remember that you are trying to tell a story that highlights change. Think about the participant. What challenge did they face? How did they address their challenge? And how did your services help? What benefits or changes were achieved? And what are their future goals? Or even how will this success story affect future programming in your county? Tell their authentic story and make it compelling for someone who may not be familiar with SNAP-Ed. Short and concise stories are most useful for our program, and quotes can be extremely powerful. Those quotes can really hook and draw the reader in and help the audience connect with the participant. Try to remember to keep your success stories around 350 words or less for each story. Remember to use good grammar and proofread your story before you submit it to pairs. Sometimes reading it out loud can really help you catch those errors that you might have made during typing. Another tip might be to type it into Word first and use the spelling and grammar tab to check for errors and then copy and paste it into pairs from there. Success stories need to be simple and easy to read. These are not academic papers, so try to aim for a 6th to 8th grade reading level. Pictures can also really enhance your story, so remember to include pictures with the signed waiver, and remember that those pictures really do add to our annual report and our social media sites. Success stories are an essential part of our reporting and can show the real-life impacts that we are making in our programming. I really want to encourage you to use these tips and guidelines in this training to look for the many successes you are having in your community and to share the powerful impacts that you're having across the state. If you have any questions about success stories, please reach out to us at the state office. We are happy to help.